So, I wanted to do a review of this game, but I've been super lazy, very unmotivated lately. So, this is kind of happening late, uh, spur of the moment. My cat just jumped off my lap, so I'm like, excellent, I'm lighter now. I wanted to do a review of the game Orwell, because I think it's very possible you've never heard of this game. And it's an interesting damn game. It looked interesting, what little I saw about it. And I saw little. I read the entire thing, read all the reviews, watched all the videos, read the description and everything, and I still say very little because it's a weird-ass game. I don't even know what to call it. Orwell is a game where... This is going to get complicated. Is a game where it's, for lack of a better term, an internet simulator? Sorta? If that makes any sense at all. Okay, so the way this game works is apparently the Nation, called the Nation, has hired people outside the Nation to use this application called Orwell. And you use Orwell, you have like kind of a supervisor type person. I think this game, when you start, it's Symes, a guy named Symes. And I think that's his name. And basically he's like, look, I can intercept all sorts of data, people's social media stuff, their personal records, their phone calls, their chat messages, their voicemail, everything. And it's like very Orwellian. So it's like, I'm just jumping into this game. I'm like, am I the bad guy, or what's the shit is going on here? And the game sort of, and that's the way it works. The way the Nation has Orwell set up is that people outside the Nation who get this app and just start using it can sort through data and feed and basically read through all this stuff, which a computer can't do. The premise is a computer can't go, okay, look through someone's bullshit, Facebook posts, which I believe in Orwell, the social media thing is called timeline, which is not a bad name for a social media, so by the by. And in other words, reading through normal bullshit posts about, I went to a party, did this thing, met these people, we got a bunch of muffins, just the normal day-to-day stuff. A computer can't figure out what's relevant and what's not, thus the reason Orwell exists, and thus the premise of our story. I don't think the character I'm portraying is even getting paid. He's just like doing it for reasons, for shits and giggles, like it's a thing to do. Which is odd, because the story, the thing that ignites the whole story is literally an explosion. There's an explosion at Freedom Plaza in the Nation. The party, the ruling party called the Party in the Nation, gets Orwell on the job, and you're fed social media about, this one blue-haired, this woman with dyed blue hair, who's on the train. Like, we see her in the square has footage, and there's like, this woman, maybe she had something to do with that. So it starts off a manhunt about her, which leads to other people, and there's this organization, and there's this professor, and there's this other incident, and here's other police reports. And your job is to grab information that's relevant, and to grab information that you believe is relevant that will help them. And as you do that, it unlocks other data, like, this is his bank account. Cool, let's go look at this guy's bank account. Suspicious looking purchases. I think at one point in the game, one of the people you're investigating lists her location as, Wonderland, somewhere over the rainbow, and you can actually grab that and push that over to Orwell, in which case you kind of get yelled at like, hey, that was bullshit, that was stupid, don't put stupid stuff in Orwell. And then later on, in addition to that, you also, those are basically anything that might be a factoid is highlighted in blue. You can grab factoids and move them over to Orwell. When you move a factoid to Orwell, it's permanent. You can't change it. You can't change your mind later on. Orwell puts that in the database, and they're going to treat that like it's real information, although your handler will kind of go, hey, that's bullshit, or you think this is the guy, okay, we'll do this thing. You're also given, highlighted in yellow, data that contradicts something else, and you have to pick one of them to move over to from the right-hand side over to the left. These, like this piece of data implies that this person started the organization that might be responsible for the bombing. This implied someone else started the organization. Well, which one? Who is it? We need to investigate one of these, so you have to pick one and move it over. And the story progresses. It started investigating things based on which of those you chose. As an aside, I wanted to do a proper video game review where you actually see snippets of the game, but I am super duper lazy. I think I mentioned I'm unmotivated, so deal with it. I probably will put some screenshots simply because it's an odd game. It's very odd. It's strange in that it's not a first-person shooter. It's not a choose-your-own-adventure properly. It's not a base management. It's not a lot of things. But what is it? Like I said, the closest I can get to properly what is this damn game is it's kind of an internet sort of simulator. It was very inexpensive on Steam. And if it's not on sale, I'd recommend not getting it yet. Because they're basically going on to, here's day one, here's what you found out. That said, it's essentially turn-based. You're not racing against the, oh shit, I gotta read this stuff faster. You're basically just scooching through stuff going, oh, that's relevant, that's not. Picking and choosing which threads to pull on. That reveals more threads, and off you go down the different branches of a tree. I've got to give this game credit. I don't know if I'm going to say this is a great game, but I am going to say this is a genius concept. It's an original one, if nothing else. If nothing else, this is a very original game. Like, I'm hard-pressed to find the game aspect of it, because I'm kind of, like, stressing out, like, oh shit, did we just arrest someone based on some of the bullshit things I was doing and picked out? Oh my god, Like, I'm not sure my character is comfortable with that. So I'm like kind of thinking, I'm the bad guy. And it immediately occurs to me, well, I kind of like this person, so I'm going to choose threads that don't get that person in trouble, because I don't want that person to get in trouble. And it's like, oh, this guy's an asshole. I know that because I've read his personal emails and stuff like that. So fuck that guy. I hope this guy goes to jail. And it's like, wow, I'm learning an important lesson here. Anyway, that said, I think I failed to do the thing I was supposed to do. And it only goes to day 2, I think. The game I got to said, hey, we're going to release the next day, in essence, the next chapter of it, on November 3rd. Looking at my little calendar, I see that November 3rd is 3.5 hours away. So it'll be released tomorrow. To briefly touch on the art style of this game. A couple things I noticed. One of which is I have the worst posture. All the art was a polygonized rotoscope looking animation, which was neat. It actually, for a relatively low budget indie-ish game, I'm going to call it, this is an indie game, no questions asked. I don't know what I'm doing with an ish on there. The art style was very nice. It portrayed, like, look, this is pictures of stuff that we don't have if we tried to portray it realistically, it would fall in that dark valley so hard it would never see the end of it. Or just using stupid pictures would be lame looking too. This was a cool way of doing it. Things looked, you got the idea, things looked good, and they were clearly easy to render and put in this game. So the art looks nice, and it's unique for a very unique game. Also, no voice acting. I mean, all of it's text. There is no person speaking. There are sounds, there is music, there is stuff like that, but this is a low budget game, which is not a bad thing. It doesn't feel cheap or crappy. It knew what it was, and it aimed for a manageable art and audio to complement it. We'll put it that way and move on. Okay, last part. How do I review a video game? Well, I review a movie. What are the odds you'll see it and not like it? So what are the odds you're going to get this thing on Steam or whatever and not like it? Decent. It's real weird. I mean, it's... If there's even a chance you're going to play this and you're thinking heart-pounding, high adrenaline, adventure, murder, this is not that game. This is not even a civilization game or a strategic game or even a base management game where there's a chance like one of your guys isn't going to farm enough food and asphyxiate in the oxygen chamber that isn't working because you didn't install enough windmills or whatever. This is you're looking through the internet and you're just looking for clues essentially and picking and choosing, and they're not even proper clues. They're what here's the internet, a huge ocean of information. You're picking out what you think is the most relevant, and someone else, the organization Symes works for, is kind of choosing what's relevant, how to pursue that. It's very interesting. But odds you'll play it and not like it. Pretty damn good. I'm not going to say 1 and 2. It's a better game than that. I'll say this. I'd say you'd get pissy about this game. You'd get a better chance of getting pissy about it if this game weren't super cheap, super simple, and pretty fast. Like, the design of this game is such that searching through simulated Facebook, internet, email, phone calls, voicemail, and so on is really simple. Like if you missed a clue or something in your little reader device, if a tool you have has more information that you haven't looked at, there'll be a star next to it. So it's like, oh, I must have missed something. It's like, oh, I went to this website to look up their stuff, and I must have missed, oh, there's a thing over here you can click on. It becomes a weird internet investigation game. If the clarity of this game doesn't add to the enjoyment, but greatly reduces potential aggravation. The interface is smart for what this is, because this is potentially a very boring game. You're pretend reading the internet instead of, reading the actual internet. Like getting on actual Facebook or something. The simplicity of the game, also the inexpensiveness of this game. Like if I had somehow paid $30 for this, I would have been like, this is all there is? Oh, fuck this. I think I paid like 10, maybe $8 for it. It was not expensive. Like I said, it was a Steam sale, and it's not an expensive game. It's like a $15 game. I paid like $8 for it. So that adds to it. I'd say not see it, play it and not like it. 1 and 4. It's a simple game. It's not expensive. They've done a very good job with the interface to make it simple and not aggravating and annoying. So, I'd say 1 and 4. So there's a 3 and 4 chance. It's worth checking out. Would I play it again? Because that's usually part of my review for movies, because I think that's a relevant part. Would I play this game again? Very relevant to games. Yeah, I probably will. If for no other reason, like I said earlier, it's like I fucked up. I failed to do the thing I was supposed to do, and I think the next day, the next chapter when it gets released tomorrow is going to be like, oh, what's the aftermath for fucking up? So yeah, I played. It's an easy, simple, fast game. You can play through the whole thing, all the existing content in 2 days. 2 days without too much trouble, without even dedicating all that much time to it. One of the downsides, it's short enough. It's not given the opportunity to get tedious. So I play it again. I will, in fact, probably play it again. And I think that's it. That's all I'm doing. That's my review. Go play Orwell. It's neat. Check it out, especially if it's on sale. It's not a bad game, and it's not a very good time killer, but it's a decent game, and if nothing else, you're exposing yourself to a very different genre of game. I don't even know what to call this game. It's this weird story-based story internet simulator. I know. Other than that, like and subscribe if you want to. That's me.